this recording goes well. So in today's agenda, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the retirement of the PostNet barcode. We're going to talk about how the Intelligent Mail barcode was created and what it's designed to do. We're going to talk about all the different pieces inside the Intelligent Mail barcode so you fully understand what's going on with it. How to get all of the different pieces that you'll need in order to construct your Intelligent Mail barcode. And we'll also talk about any problems that you may have as you start printing that Intelligent Mail barcode and submitting that mail to the post office. And we'll also get a sneak peek into the next step after the Intelligent Mail barcode, which is full service. And we're actually going to have a second version of Intelligent Mail called Intelligent Mail 201, and that'll cover the full service in more detail. So let's talk a little bit about the PostNet barcode. PostNet has been used for automation discounts for several years now. Pretty much everybody in the mailing industry is very familiar with it. You'll see an example at the bottom of the screen. We've got our tall bars and we've got our short bars. And basically the PostNet barcode contained all the information that the post office needed in order to get that mail to its destination. So this just includes information about where this mail piece is going. And the post office has actually announced that they intend to retire the PostNet barcode in January of 2013. And so this is a pretty big step when it comes to barcode technology and getting everyone migrated over. And so the post office is giving quite a bit of time for mailers to migrate over to the Intelligent Mail barcode. If you'll remember back last year in 2011, they actually wanted to require the Intelligent Mail barcode in May of 2011. However, they did hear some feedback from the mailing industry that that wasn't enough time, so they stretched out that requirement until 2013. So as much as they have pushed that requirement back in the past, I don't see that that's going to be pushed back any further. So so there's really no reason to continue using the PostNet barcode if you can go ahead and move over to the Intelligent Mail barcode. So let's talk a little bit about the Intelligent Mail barcode. The post office released all of the specifications for that barcode in 2006. When it was released in 2006, it was actually called a 4-state barcode, and there was actually a lot of confusion in the mailing industry about which 4 states it was, whether it was Colorado or Massachusetts, and so they actually had to rename that barcode, and so they started calling it the 1-code barcode after that, which still didn't really stick with the industry, and that's when they renamed it the Intelligent Mail barcode. Again, we did receive that notification from the post office saying that they do want to require the Intelligent Mail barcode for automation discounts in January of 2013. And the reason for that is because the Intelligent Mail barcode actually contains more information than the PostNet. So in addition to that delivery address information, it does include information about the mailer and also how that mail piece was sorted. So that gives the post office a little bit more intelligence about how to handle those Intelligent Mail barcodes. So why did the post office introduce this new barcode? Well, they were having to add additional barcodes every time they added a new service. So for example, for those people who are using the PostNet barcode and they wanted to do tracking, they had to have a separate barcode for tracking called the Planet code. They also had other services like ACS and delivery confirmation that all kind of had their own separate specifications. And so the post office designed the Intelligent Mail barcode to combine all of that information into one barcode that would clean up the mail piece. So in addition to the delivery code information, that additional information that's in the barcode, the post office is actually going to use for processing intelligence. So what does that mean? That means that the post office is actually using the results of these barcodes to optimize their network. And they've actually been using this information for those mailers who have who've started using full service, and they've actually been able to streamline their processing. And so they've been able to actually streamline and speed up the mail processing for a lot of areas just by using the data for the people who are using the intelligent mail barcode today. So, so that's actually helping out everyone who's been using the mail stream. In addition to actually all the benefits the post office gets, mailers are going to be able to clean up that mail piece by only having one barcode on the mail piece. And it's also the first step towards full service. So after you've started printing just the piece intelligent mail barcode, there are some additional steps to get to full service intelligent mail, and that's something that's going to be coming in the future. So let's talk about a little bit of the differences between the PostNet and the intelligent mail barcode. Both the barcodes are going to include delivery address information, and they're both used for letters and flats. If you've been using the automation rates with the PostNet barcode, you're going to be able to do that until January 2013. But if you want to mail at automation rates after 2013, you will need to use the intelligent mail barcode. So there are quite a few bits of information that the intelligent mail barcode has that the PostNet doesn't. It includes mailer information, so it's going to identify who's actually mailing that piece. It does offer the chance to uniquely identify each mail piece, which basically makes it into a license plate for that piece of mail. It also allows you to embed ACS and tracking information into that barcode, and it allows you to qualify for full service. So there's a couple of really big differences between the PostNet and the intelligent mail barcode, one of which is how much information is actually embedded in that barcode. The PostNet barcode contains 11 digits of information, and that's the 9-digit ZIP+4 code, and also 2 digits called the delivery point. The intelligent mail barcode includes all of that information and an additional 20 digits of information, so there's quite a bit more additional information that's embedded in that intelligent mail barcode. In addition to that, once it's encoded, the PostNet barcode had 62 bars of information. The intelligent mail barcode only has a few more bars, and that has to do with the way that that barcode is encoded into the different bars of the IMB. So let's talk a little bit more about these differences here. So you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen an example mail piece. If you are using all of the services that are available in the intelligent mail barcode, your mail piece is going to look fairly cluttered. So you've got your return address, you've got address service requested, you've got some lines of data for your ACS information, you've got your PostNet information. If you were using tracking, you would also have a planet code, which looks very similar to the PostNet, and all of that information would be printed on the mail piece, and it looks fairly cluttered. With the intelligent mail barcode, you're actually able to combine all of that information into one barcode. You'll notice that the address service requested is still printed on the mail piece, and that's because generally the address service requested is something that's fulfilled by a person and not a machine. And so that address service requested is a way to tell that person that we do need to look for those address changes on that mail piece. So let's talk a little bit about what's actually in this intelligent mail barcode. There are 5 parts of the intelligent mail barcode. The first 2 digits of those 31 digits of the intelligent mail barcode is going to be the barcode ID. And the barcode ID actually identifies how that mail piece was sorted. Was it sorted to a 5-digit level or a mixed level? If you're printing in an optional endorsement line on your mail piece, that barcode ID does need to be filled out. If you're not printing an optional endorsement line on your mail piece, you can fill that barcode ID in with 00. The next bit of information is very important, and that's the service type ID. And the service type ID tells the post office exactly how to process this mail. It's going to identify what class of mail it is, whether it's first class mail, standard mail, or periodicals or bound printed matter. It'll also tell the post office any additional services that you are wanting to get back from this mail piece. If you're requesting ACS, or if you're requesting tracking for that mail piece, you can identify that in the service type ID. The next few digits is going to be the mailer ID. The mailer ID can actually be either 6 or 9 digits long. Most mailers are going to get a 9-digit mailer ID, and that identifies the person who's sending that piece of mail, and that's assigned by the post office. So after the mailer ID is going to be the serial number, and depending on how long your mailer ID is, your serial number will be either 6 or 9 digits. to make up the rest of that bit of information there. And the serial number, if you're using basic intelligent mail, can just be all zeros, and that's all mailer assigned. However, if you're using full service intelligent mail, or if you're using tracking or ACS, that serial number does need to be unique for 45 days or more. And so you can actually use software to make sure that that serial number stays unique. But for the most part, you can just use zeros, or you can assign a unique code in that serial number, and that's all assigned by the mailer. And then the last 11 digits of that intelligent mail barcode is going to be the routing code, and that's all the information that was in the old PostNet barcode. So let's talk a little bit about where you would get all of this information. So for the barcode ID, this is something that you would actually get from your sorting software. So if you're using a product like Bulk Mailer or Marum Toolkit, which are our Satori software products, then that barcode ID is going to be generated automatically. Additionally, the service type ID will be created for you, because in our products you'll be able to select whether you're using tracking or ACS, and that way you'll be able to assign the correct service type ID for that mail piece. The mailer ID is something that you'll get directly from the post office. Mailer IDs are free, and so you can request that from the post office, and then you would just enter that into the software that you're using to generate your intelligent mail barcode. The serial number is something that you can assign, or you can have your software manage that for you. Again, if you're just using the basic intelligent mail barcode, you can use all zeros, or if you're using tracking or full service, then you'll need to keep those numbers unique. There are several software products, including Satori's software products, that will manage that serial number for you and make sure that it stays unique for those 45 days. And then, of course, that routing code is that delivery point information, and that's all generated during your task processing, just like your PostNet barcode is today. So let's talk a little bit about the mailer IDs, because this is something that you'll need to get from the post office. They are free. And like I said, there's a 6-digit and a 9-digit version that are available. Most mailers will get that 9-digit mailer ID, just because there are more of them. And which version of the mailer ID you get assigned actually has to do with how much volume you're actually sending with that mailer ID. So if you mail quite a bit more, then you can request a 6-digit mailer ID. If you don't mail as much, then most mailers are going to get that 9-digit mailer ID. If you do use a 9-digit mailer ID and you find yourself not being able to keep your sequence numbers unique, you can request additional mailer IDs. So it's very common for a mailer to have more than one 9-digit mailer ID. And you can request those mailer IDs at the Gateway website. So that's gateway.usps.com. And like I said, that is free. Let's go ahead and take a look at how you'll sign up for that mailer ID. So here is the Business Customer Gateway website, and you'll notice we've identified that login screen. If you already have an account with the Gateway website, you can go ahead and use your username and password to log in. If you don't have an account, you can register as a new user, and it's very straightforward. It's just like any sign-up screen you would have for any other website. So you would just assign yourself a username and a password, and then you'll be able to log into the Business Customer Gateway. Once you've logged into your account, what you'll do is you'll find under the Design and Prepare section, there's a link there for the mailer ID. And you'll just click on that link, and it'll walk you through requesting a mailer ID. And it'll actually tell you how many mailer IDs you can request and what size they are, whether they're a 6-digit or a 9-digit. And so when you do request a mailer ID through the Business Customer Gateway, sometimes it can take a little bit of time in order to get that mailer ID assigned to you. So give the post office about a half hour after you've requested your mailer ID, and then you can just come back to this same page, click on the mailer ID link again, and if it's been assigned, you'll see that on the next page. If you've already signed up for a mailer ID and you don't remember what it is, you can come back to this same website. You can log in, and then you'll see that mailer ID link, and you'll be able to display your mailer ID from that screen. So let's talk a little bit about how you would create this intelligent mail barcode inside of Satori products. The very first step is going to be running your list through address correction. That's going to run your list through our CAS certified software, and that's going to assign that routing code that's required for the IMB. And then, so when you were using the PostNet barcodes, you only had to run address correction, you would get your barcode. With the intelligent mail barcode, because it does include that additional sorting information, you have to run address correction and sorting in order to get that barcode. So after you've run your list through address correction, you'll select intelligent mail in your sort template. You'll make sure that your mailer ID is entered along with your permit information. You'll sort the list just like you normally would, and then you can print or export that intelligent mail barcode. And we actually have a walkthrough of all of these steps on the Satori software website. So if you go to satorisoftware.com and you go to support, there's actually a whole section there about the intelligent mail barcode, and there's actually a video that you can watch that shows you exactly where to click in Satori's products in order to generate that barcode. So let's talk about how the intelligent mail barcode is encoded, and this is something that happens automatically in Satori's products and in quite a few products out there in the market as well. We talked about the 31 digits that the intelligent mail barcode has, and all of that information is encoded to become 65 bars of information. And you remember that I talked about it first being called a 4-state barcode? And the reason for that is because there are 4 different ways that the bar can be printed in an intelligent mail barcode. They call them the FATD bars. So there's the T, which is the tracking region here. There's a bar that's going up, which is the ascending bar. There's a bar going down, which is the descending bar. And then there's a full bar. And so the abbreviation for that is just kind of the first letters of each of those sections, the full bar, the ascender, the tracker, or the descender. So there's the FATD. And you'll notice that after the 65 digits of information become encoded, it just generates a bunch of letters. And so all of those letters are actually encoded using a font, and then that font is used to create those bars and then be printed out on your mail piece. So let's talk a little bit about how you would use the intelligent mail barcode on your mail piece. Where you would place your barcode is going to be almost exactly the way that you place your barcode, your PostNet barcode today. There's no additional rules as far as a placement of the barcode on your mail piece. Generally, the size of the barcode is very similar to the PostNet barcode, and so you would want to print it either above or below your delivery address, or in that barcode clear zone in the lower right-hand corner of the mail piece. We do strongly recommend that you print some samples and take it to your BMEU before you start your first mailing with intelligent mail. And the reason for that is because the post office does check the barcodes. Just because it is a new barcode, they tend to check it a little bit more, and they want to make sure that the barcode is readable by their sorting equipment. So if you print about 30 to 50 pieces and submit that to the USPS, they can run it through Merlin, make sure that everything's scannable, and then approve you, and then you can go ahead and start mailing with your intelligent mail barcode. You can request ACS with the intelligent mail barcode. It is available as a reduced rate from the traditional rate, so you can get electronic returns of those moved addresses with the intelligent mail barcode. You can also get raw tracking data from the post office. The raw tracking data that you get from the IMB is very confusing, and that's why Satori Software has developed a product called EasyTrack. It actually takes all of the raw tracking data and analyzes it for you, which will allow you to actually track your mail pieces and identify any delivery problems, or see exactly when that mail is going to be delivered. So let's talk a little bit about the common problems that can happen when you're printing out the intelligent mail barcode. The first is, obviously, there are 3 more bars in the barcode. So when you're printing to a very small mail piece, or if you're printing inside of a windowed envelope, sometimes those barcodes can be a little bit longer than you'd anticipate, which can wind up having the barcode go off the mail piece or be hidden under the window of that envelope. So inside of Satori products, we actually have another additional barcode font called I Am Narrow, and that actually will allow you to print that barcode as short as it possibly can be and still be readable by the post office. Another quick QA that you could do on your mail pieces is just to count the bars in the Intelligent Mail barcode. If there are 65 bars that are visible and readable by you, then that should be acceptable by the post office. Some of you may be using older printing equipment, so if you have a really old dot matrix printer, we have found some issues with those older machines. We definitely strongly recommend that you talk to your printer dealer. If you are using one of those older dot matrix printers, we do find that the Intelligent Mail barcode does print very much more slowly than it would with the PostNet barcode. And the reason for that is the old PostNet barcode was actually encoded into a lot of these printers, but they haven't been updated with the encoding for the Intelligent Mail barcode. So they're actually required to use a font in order to print that barcode, which winds up taking a little bit longer than the printer interpreting that barcode itself. We have found a few barcode readability issues. Generally, if you are printing the PostNet barcode without any readability issues today, then the Intelligent Mail barcode is not going to cause you any trouble. However, the post office, since it's a new barcode, they're going to give it a little bit more scrutiny, and so you'll want to make sure that the printing quality is good, that you have a good space between your bars, and that nothing's blurring on the mail piece. Another problem that can happen is when you're actually printing out your mail piece, if you see letters like those FATD letters that we saw on the previous screen, instead of the bars on the barcode, then that indicates that your software and your printer are not communicating properly, and that the barcode font is not being sent over. So you'll want to make sure that the correct barcode font is used when you're printing out those mail pieces. If you're printing outside of Satori software products, we do install an Intelligent Mail barcode, actually several Intelligent Mail barcode fonts that you can use if you're printing from Word or from another printing software. So you can just use those fonts, and we recommend a 16-point font when you're using Satori software fonts there. So what are the steps that you need to take in order to move over to the Intelligent Mail barcode? The first is you need to sign up for a mailer ID. Remember, that's going to be free. You can sign up at the Gateway website, gateway.usps.com. You'll want to check with your Satori software providers. If you're using Satori, then all of this is covered in your product today. You don't have any additional software to purchase, and so you can go ahead and get going with that if you're using Satori. If you're using other software to print your barcodes, then you should probably talk with those software products and make sure that it is supported. Go ahead and start generating those Intelligent Mail barcodes in your software. Start testing a couple mail pieces, making sure that the barcodes are actually being printed properly and that you have all 65 bars. Print out a couple samples and take them out to the post office. And then you're ready to send your first Intelligent Mail mailing. So it's pretty straightforward, and depending on the mailing equipment the printing equipment that you have today, you can actually get going fairly quickly. So after you've started printing out those piece Intelligent Mail barcodes, what's the next step? Now, the next step from the post office side is called full service Intelligent Mail, and the post office is actually proposing that they move everyone over to full service in 2014. And if you want to move over to full service today, you can do so, and you get a small discount from the post office. So in addition to that mail piece barcode that we've been talking about today, there are a few other Intelligent Mail barcodes that are required, including the tray barcode and the container barcode. So let's talk a little bit more about full service. You do need to print out that Intelligent Mail barcode on all of your mail pieces, and you are required to have a unique serial number in that barcode. In addition, you'll print out the Intelligent Mail tray labels and pallet labels, and you're also required to submit all of your postal paperwork electronically, and you can do that using mail.dat or mail.xml, and basically that's an electronic version of all of your postal paperwork. That's going to be your postage statement, your qualification report, and any additional documentation that you're required to take into the post office. And we'll go into this in a lot more detail in the Intelligent Mail 201 class. If you'd like to learn more about the Intelligent Mail barcode, we definitely strongly recommend that you go to our website, satorisoftware.com, and in the Learn section we have an entire area that's devoted entirely to Intelligent Mail, including a video that I told you about that shows exactly how to generate the Intelligent Mail barcode inside of Satori products. To get information from the post office, you can go to RIBS, that's ribbs.usps.gov, and there are a very, very large list of pretty bulky PDFs there that gives all the information about Intelligent Mail, full service, how to use mail.dat, how to use mail.xml. We tend to scale that down for your own use for Satori products, but if you want to get all the information, it's available on RIBS. To get your mailer ID, you definitely want to get a gateway account. Again, that's free, and it's at gateway.usps.com. And if you'd like to do a test run of encoding and decoding your Intelligent Mail barcode, the post office does have an encoder and a decoder that's available, and you can type in all the information for that barcode, and you can encode and decode that barcode to make sure that all the digits are accounted for. So in summary, Intelligent Mail is the next step in postal barcode technology. It's definitely the way the post office is going. They definitely want to migrate everyone over as soon as possible, and they are going to require that piece barcode in January 2013. You can get a free mailer ID from the post office, and if you're using Satori software, creating a barcode is very straightforward and it's very easy using your existing software with no additional add-ons required. And then, of course, there's that looming deadline of 2014 for full service, and that's going to be covered in the Intelligent Mail 201 class. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and open up the presentation to any questions that you may have. Feel free to type in your questions into the Q&A section of the webinar there. Or you can click the raise hand button, and we'll go ahead and unmute your line, and we can go ahead and answer your questions there. So let me go through the questions that are listed here. What is ACS? So ACS is Address Change Service, and it's another way for you to get move update information that's a little bit more using the information from the postal carriers. So you can use NCOA link to correct your addresses and to update them before you mail. And ACS is a way to do that same process except after you mail. The next question is, does it matter on which line the new barcode appears? And I assume you mean in relation to the address itself. And generally you'll want the barcode to be either completely above the address block or completely below the address block. You do want to have a little bit of a buffer around that barcode so that the barcode scanners can read it, but generally you'll want it either on the top or the bottom of the address. Will attendees be forwarded this PowerPoint after the webinar? We're actually going to try and post these slides after the webinar is complete, so that they should be posted by tomorrow. If this recording turns out, then we'll also post the recording. So let's see, the next question. If your software generates a barcode with the endorsement line as part of the code, and you end up not printing the optional endorsement line, do you have to regenerate the barcode with a different code? And the answer to that is yes. In Satori software products, we do have an option to indicate whether you're printing the endorsement line or not, and you would select that during your sort process. And if you change your mind, you can just go back and resort your list. Let's see here. What if I'm using my customer's permit? Does the customer have to have a mailer ID? And the answer to that is no. You can, if you are mailing for another person, you can use your own mailer ID or you can use your customer's mailer ID, and either one is perfectly acceptable. Okay. Looks like we have a question about a specific printer from Tom Deutsch. And Tom, I will go ahead and contact you offline to see if we can identify what's happening with your printer and trying to print that Intelligent Mail barcode font on your press there. The next question is, where are the fonts located if I'm printing from another mailing software? If you've installed Satori software products, we actually install those fonts into your Windows fonts folder, and so you should be able to just grab that as you would from your list of fonts, just like you would in Word or any other application there. If you want to transfer that to another machine, we actually have those fonts available for download free on our website as well. So the next question is, so on the permit screen, there's a spot for the mailer ID, for the mailer agent, and for the mail owner. Under what circumstances would the mail owner have to have their own mailer ID? Or can we use our own mailer ID on everything as we mail as a mailing agent? If you're a mail agent, then you can use your own mailer ID for everything. However, with full service, you do have to identify yourself and your customer with a mailer ID or a CRID, and we'll talk a little bit about that in the Intelligent Mail 201 class. But so I would recommend signing up your customers for their own mailer ID, but you're not required to use them just to move to the basic Intelligent Mail barcode. The next question is, ACS included in basic or only full service? ACS is available but for a fee with basic. With full service, you actually get ACS for free. So that's the answer to that one. Can I implement IMB now? If you are using Satori software products, you can start using the Intelligent Mail barcode today. So there's no reason not to get started. Next question, extra cost for full service. The post office doesn't have any additional charge, and actually they have a small discount that's available for full service right now. If you're needing to use something like the mail.dat or mail.xml, we do have a module that's available to allow you to do the electronic documentation. Next question, is the serial number unique to each mail batch or every single mail piece? And that's actually for every single mail piece. So basically the serial number that's printed on the Intelligent Mail barcode becomes like a license plate for each piece of mail, and it allows the post office to uniquely identify each mail piece, which allows them to track them individually and make sure that their service levels are good there. Next question, please define full service. So full service, we're actually going to have an entire class on that because that's a very big topic. That's going to be at the end of this month. Feel free to sign up for that class on the website, and we'll go over full service in great detail. What code is produced by the address correction for the IM barcode? The code the part of the barcode that's generated during address correction is the routing information. So that's going to be the zip code, the +4, and the delivery point. How does one sign up for tracking, and how much does it cost? How does one turn that on in Satori? We do have that Easy Track software that's available. Feel free to contact your sales manager for details on pricing. I actually don't have the pricing for Easy Track. Isn't there a cost for software and processing the full service through mail.dat and mail.xml? Mail.dat and mail.xml is an extra module that you can purchase today. The electronic entry for paperwork is very confusing. This will be covered later? Yes, it will be. We will definitely cover all of the electronic paperwork information in the Intelligent Mail 201 class later this month. Does ACS replace the requirement for NCOA? It can, however, it's actually a best practice to do both NCOA and ACS. So NCOA allows you to correct the address before it goes out for delivery, and ACS does it on the back end. So so it's actually better to do both. I don't recommend doing ACS all on its own. Sometimes you don't get the same results from ACS that you do from NCOA. Can you quickly describe the differences between mail.dat, mail.xml, and the Postal Wizard? So those are all the options that are available for electronic documentation. Mail.dat is a large database, and it contains all the information that you need to submit all of your postal paperwork to the post office. Mail.xml is the mailing version of text messages, so it's a very rapid response mechanism that allows you to send just the information that pertains to your mailing. So while mail.dat contains all the information, mail.xml is very streamlined. And then the Postal Wizard is actually available on the Business Customer Gateway, and it allows you to type in your postal paperwork directly into the post office. There is some limitations on when you can use the Postal Wizard as well, and we'll go into all of those in great detail in the Intelligent Mail 201 class. Is NCOA still an option, or does IMB take place of? IMB does not take place of NCOA. It does allow you to use ACS. However, again, it is definitely an industry best practice to use NCOA on the front end and ACS on the back end. So, however, if you're wanting to satisfy the move update requirement, NCOA is still a completely valid way of doing that. If a client needs a subscription expiration date printed on the piece, where would it go in relation to the IMB? In PostNet, we put it above the barcode. You probably could still put it above the barcode. However, the post office actually would like you to print it below the barcode if possible. You should definitely talk to your mail piece design analyst to get exact placement for that. But since that expiration date is not part of the address itself, then it can go pretty much anywhere on that mail piece. What if we're performing address correction with Satori but pre-sorting with other software? Will this arrangement still work? You'll need to talk to your other software provider to see exactly how they generate that intelligent mail barcode, but you should be able to get that to work. Are there Mac versions of those fonts? Satori hasn't created a Mac version of the font. However, if you go to the RIBS website, I believe they do have a Mac font that's available at ribs.usps.gov. I have a CRID number. Is that the same as a mailer ID? And the answer to that is no. The CRID number is actually a number that identifies your location, not your company. So you'll want to sign up for a mailer ID in addition to a CRID. We print a lot of postcards. Will the sort numbers still be printed on the cards, or will we need to somehow keep track of what cards go where? You can still identify your sort information in your address block just like you do today. So you can just swap out that PostNet barcode for an intelligent mail barcode. And we have another question about CRIDs, and we'll talk a little bit more about CRIDs in that Intelligent Mail 201 class. A CRID is not a mailer ID, so you'll need to have both. Any other info needed for a Mac or Apple computer, or is it the same? If you're using a Mac machine, you will need to get a Mac font for that barcode. And there's another question. Keith had a question about a specific printer. We'll go ahead and I'll cover that with you offline. The next question is about business reply envelopes. Business reply envelopes will be required to have an IMB after January 2003. Yes, that's correct. So, so you will need to move over all of your business reply envelopes to the Intelligent Mail barcode as well. There are some resources on the Business Customer Gateway that allow you to generate the IMB for the BRM pieces. So they will continue to return the PostNet business reply envelopes. However, they're strongly recommending that you migrate over to the IMB. So if you still have a lot of stock of business reply envelopes and you want to continue to use them, feel free. But you do want to. I wouldn't order any more with the PostNet barcode on it, if that makes sense. Okay, let's see. The next question is about ancillary service endorsements. And it says, not sure if this is a question for you, the post office but should the endorsement read electronic service requested, or is address service requested and change service requested still acceptable? You can still use address service requested and change service requested. However, if you use electronic service requested, you'll get the return information from ACS back electronically, and there's a little bit less of a fee for that. If I run NCOA, CAS still runs as well, correct? Yes. Yes, if you're running NCOA, CAS is a required process for that. So if you're running NCOA, then CAS will be running in the background and you'll get that routing number. Is there a special start-stop character to use with IMB when printing outside with Satori software? No, and so that's one of the big differences between the PostNet barcode and the Intelligent Mail barcode. The PostNet barcode had those framing bars, those tall bars at either end of the barcode, and that basically told the printer when to start scanning and when to stop scanning that barcode. With the Intelligent Mail barcode, all of that information is actually part of that encoding algorithm. So, so there's no special start and stop characters to use outside of our product. Next question, we export our mail list to an outside printer. If we use our own mailer ID, will the export report generate the IMB information? Yeah, so if you're processing and generating the Intelligent Mail barcode yourself, you can export that full Intelligent Mail barcode over to your printer, and it will include your mailer ID information. When printing an IMB and a piece gets messed up and I reprint that piece at the end of the tray, can I stick that reprinted piece at the end of the tray, or do I find exactly where it goes? And that depends on how your mail is sorted. If you're doing like a 5-digit tray or an ADC tray, then it's usually okay just to slip that piece at the back of your tray. If you're doing carrier route mail at all, then you'll definitely need to find exactly where that mail piece sits, because carrier route, the order within the tray and even within the bundle is very important. So if you're doing carrier routes, you will need to identify exactly where that mail piece goes. Do I still need to include an auto endorsement with IMB? If you're using an optional endorsement line today, then you can continue to do so. You can contact your post office to see exactly for your mail piece what's required there as far as whether an optional endorsement line is required. Generally with carrier route mail, it is still required. Do we need to include an IMB on our courtesy reply mail? So, so any of your reply mail, whether it's business reply mail or courtesy reply mail, we do need to start migrating those over to the Intelligent Mail barcodes as soon as possible. Definitely don't be ordering any more stock with the PostNet barcode on it today. Go ahead and start processing that Intelligent Mail barcode. So that's all going to be courtesy reply mail and business reply mail. We'll want to start migrating over as soon as possible. They will probably still continue to return the pieces that have a PostNet barcode on it after January 2013, but it's better safe than sorry. So we could keep going with that new barcode and not have to worry about it. And then I have an incomplete question here. How could I sort visually by carrier route without a printed line and not just an IMB? You can continue to print out your tray and sort information on your mail piece. You're not required to take that off of the mail piece by any means. So if you're using that today, feel free to continue printing out your tray bundle and sort information parts onto your mail piece. And so, because obviously the Intelligent Mail barcode isn't as human readable as the PostNet was. So, by sorting visually by carrier route, you would be doing that using that sort and your tray information that's generated during the sort process. Okay. So we have a couple hands that have been raised here. If you have raised your hand and you still have a question, feel free to keep that hand raised. If you don't have a question, go ahead and uncheck that here. But I'm going to go ahead, and it looks like we have a couple questions that have been asked here. I'm going to go ahead and unmute your line, and you'll be able to ask a question over the phone, and then we'll be able to answer it for it. So first we have Linda, hi. Linda, are you there? Linda, are you available? Okay, it looks like she's sidetracked there. Let's see here. Let's see if Thad, and I can't pronounce your last name. Thad, are you available and do you have a question? Okay. All right. Well, it looks like that those people aren't available to ask their questions right now. Let's try Linda one more time. Linda, if you're on the phone, could you go ahead and ask your question? Okay. And I'm not here. Okay. All right. Well, if you have any additional questions after today's webinar, you can contact Satori Software Support. It's available at support@satorisoftware.com. You can also call our support hotline at 800-357-3020, and our support team is very well educated on the Intelligent Mail barcode, and they're definitely willing to help. And after the class here, we're going to try and post this recording and also the presentation. So if you'd like a copy of that, you can do so. We definitely appreciate your time today. If you'd like to, please fill out our short survey, and we can improve our future webinars. And feel free to sign up for that Intelligent Mail 201 class, which is going to cover a lot about full service and what's coming, what's required, and how to migrate over to full service. And that'll be available at the end of the month. So at this point, we'll go ahead and stop the recording, and we thank you for your time today. Thank you.